Good evening to all of you and welcome in the GS University YouTube lecture series. We people were discussing the topic motion of the earth, and in the motion of the earth we are done with the three parts, that means the rotation, Coriolis force and revolution. And today in the last part of this topic, that is the motion of the earth, we are going to discuss revolution, the revolution of the earth. So, first recap of two of the topics. And in these topics, we have discussed that in the rotation motion, the earth move on its axis. Now, this slanting line is the axis of the earth, and we have discussed how the rotation takes place and what are the consequences or the outcome or the byproduct or the effect of the rotation on the earth. In the second lecture, we people were done with the Coriolis force, how the Coriolis force emerged, and I have explained you that the Coriolis force is the outcome of rotation movement or the rotation motion of the earth. And now today in the last part of this lecture, that is the motion of the earth, we are going to discuss the revolution of the earth, the second type of motion which earth done around the sun. So we have already known that simultaneously at the same time earth is in the constant of two motion. One is rotation, that is the rotation, and second one is the revolution, that means taking a circle around the sun. So look, before starting the lecture, theoretically I am explaining you a demonstration, and in this demonstration you people have to notice that decreasing and the increasing distance of the pole from the sun and the direction of the sun rays. First, we know that in the second motion of the revolution, earth revolves around the sun, and the direction of this motion is from west to east. Okay, that means like the rotation, in the revolution also the direction of the revolution is from west to east. That means earth rotates in its revolution like this one is the east and this one is the west. Second, the speed of the revolution is 29.8 kilometer per second. That means in the round figure 30 kilometer per second. It simply means with the passage of the 1 second we moved about 30 kilometer in the motion of the revolution. So the direction of the revolution is from west to east, and simultaneously the speed of the revolution is 30 km per second, and in the one revolution earth cover a path of 92 crore kilometer. That means the length of the one revolution is 92 crore kilometer. So first we are done with these three facts. First, that the direction of the revolution is from west to east. The speed of the revolution is 29.8 kilometer, that is around 30 kilometer per second, and the length of one revolution is 92 crore kilometer. 92 crore kilometer. And when the revolution is done on the earth, we are done with increasing length of day or night, or increasing time duration of the day and the night, or decreasing time duration of day and night on the different parts or the different portions of the earth. Now we are cleared in the solar system, or some other lectures also I have explained that earth has four hemispheres. Two hemispheres are horizontal and those are northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere, while the two hemispheres are the vertical and those are eastern hemisphere and western hemisphere. And in this lecture we will be dealing with the horizontal hemisphere of the earth, that is northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere, and how through the process of the revolution the time duration of the day increase or decrease in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere, and simultaneously in the same proportion, if the time duration is increasing in the northern hemisphere, how the night duration is decreasing in the northern hemisphere, and if the time duration is increasing of the day in the southern hemisphere, the time duration is increasing of the night in the northern hemisphere, how the time duration of the day is decreasing in same proportion in the southern hemisphere, because whatever the increasing or the decreasing time duration of the night and the time, the whole time span will be 24 hours. To this we are very much clear. Either the night should be 18 hours or 6 hours or 12 hours. If the night is of the 18 hours, then the remaining time of the day will be 6 hours. If the night is 13 hours, then the remaining time of the day is 11 hours. If the day is 14 hours, then the remaining time of the night is 10 hours. So in whole, what should be the increasing or the decreasing proportion time duration of the day and the night? The complete length of one day is 24 hours. So the adjustment will be making out of these 24 hours in respect of the time duration of the day and the night. So before completely understanding this lecture, we have to done with the one demonstration. And this one is the demonstration. Suppose this is the sun, the bulb is sun, and we have earth in our hand. Now in this demonstration, you people have to note that this is the North Pole and this one is the South Pole. And in this demonstration, you people have to note the increasing length or decreasing length of the North Pole and South Pole in respect of distance from the sun. If you people are cleared with this concept, the revolution in totality will be cleared with you. Now look, I have given the 4 date out of a year, that is 31st of March, 21st of March, 21st of June, 23rd of September and the 22nd of December. And I am taking you people at the date time of 31st of March and we are here. That means between you and the sun, the earth is here. Okay. Now notice, if the earth is here, which pole has the maximum distance, North Pole or the South Pole, and which pole simultaneously in the same proportion has the minimum distance from the sun? So if earth is here on the 21st of March, you people will be noticing that both the poles, that the North Pole and the South Pole, are maintaining the equal distance from the sun. On the 21st of March, both North Pole and the South Pole are maintaining the equal distance from the sun. Okay. Now the revolution direction is from west to east. So we are moving from west to east and come to here. Okay, and today on this date at this position we are on the 21st of June. Now on the 21st of June, note that the distance of the North Pole is maximum or the minimum in respect of sun, or the distance of the South Pole is maximum or minimum in respect of sun. Here the distance was equal, because the slanting axis or the slanting axis angle of the earth is ineffective at this position. But when the earth is revoluting on the 21st of June, the North Pole is having the minimum distance from the sun, while in the same proportion vice versa, the south pole is having the maximum distance from the sun. If the earth could not have been in this slanting position like this, so there is no effect of the earth slanting, and here also no effect of the earth slanting on its axis toward the west at the angle of the 23.5 inclination. If the earth could not have been inclined on its axis by the angle of the 23.5 degree, so here ineffective of inclination, and also ineffective of inclination, if the earth could not have been inclined, we people will not be discussing the inclination angle at all. But in the real position, the earth is inclined at the 23.5 degree west. So here at the 21st of March, no effect of inclination. Because of the inclination, the distance of the north pole and the south pole is not decreasing or increasing in the respect of sun. But on the 21st of June, because of the earth inclination, the north pole is maintaining the minimum distance from the sun and the south pole is maintaining the maximum distance from the sun. So look at over here. This are sun and this is north pole and this is the south pole. So north pole and south pole. Look, if we compare the distance of the north pole and the south pole, because of the inclination of the earth, the distance north pole is having minimum while the south pole is having maximum. D for distance. D for distance, note. D for distance and T for temperature, right? We are coming with the temperature little bit or later. So on the 21st of June, the north pole is having the minimum distance from the sun, while the south pole is having the maximum distance at the date of 21st of June. Okay, so we were here. Now come to here again, revolution, and the earth is at the position of the 23rd of September. This one was the 21st of March and this is the 23rd of September, and both are the same. Here the north pole and the south pole are maintaining the equal distance from the sun, and here also the north pole and the south pole are maintaining the equal distance from the sun, right? And come to here, 22nd of December. The south pole is maintaining the minimum distance from the sun while the north pole is maintaining the maximum distance from the sun. So while this position and this position are the same, this position of the 21st of June and this position of the 22nd of December are just reversed to each other. On the 21st of June, the north pole is maintaining the minimum distance, while on the 22nd of December, the north pole is maintaining the maximum distance. On the 21st of June, the south pole is maintaining the maximum distance, while on the 22nd of December, the south pole is maintaining the minimum distance in respect of sun. So look, this is our north pole. D plus and here D minus, right? On 21st of March and 23rd of September, due to the earth position in its revolution, the earth is here, and in both this position, the pole of the earth, the north pole and the south pole, are maintaining the equal distance, while in this position of the 21st of June and the 22nd of December, the distance in respect of north pole and the south pole is decreasing or increasing. So now if the distance is minus, if the distance is sorry for this disturbance. If the distance is minus, the temperature will be higher, and if the distance is maximum, the temperature will be minimum. If the distance is minimum, the temperature will be maximum. How? Because if you are moving a thing which is hot, then you are feeling the heat, increasing heat with the decreasing distance. And if you are moving away from a hot point, then you are feeling the decreasing of temperature because you are moving away from the hot point. Now the sun is that hot point, and the North Pole is maintaining the minimum distance. That means the North Pole and simultaneously the northern hemisphere is maintaining the minimum distance from the sun. Simultaneously, at the same time, the South Pole is maintaining the maximum distance. As a result, the southern hemisphere is somewhat indirect to the heat or the sun rays of the sun. Because the North Pole and the northern hemisphere at large are maintaining, because of the earth slanting, the minimum distance, the heat will be maximum. And the South Pole and the southern hemisphere maintaining the maximum distance, the temperature will be minimum. And this is the reverse condition here. Here the D minus, here the D plus. If the D plus, then temperature is minimum. And if the D minus, then the temperature is maximum. Right? So, on the 21st of June, when the North Pole is maintaining the minimum distance, that's why in the northern hemisphere we have a direct sun rays. We have a direct sun rays, and the sun rays are carrying away with itself the heat of the sun. If we are having the direct sun rays with the minimum distance in respect of North Pole, then the heat will also be higher over here. That's why on the 21st of June we are having the summer season and we are blotting our sweat. So distance minus temperature is higher. In the southern hemisphere it is summer, and that's why it is known as a summer solstice, double S. So on the 21st of June in the northern hemisphere we have summer solstice. Now what is solstice? In the solstice, I have explained in the written notes, when there is a maximum difference of 12 hours, when there is a maximum difference of 12 hours in the time duration of the day and the night, that is known as a solstice. And if the solstice is summer solstice, then the day is having its time duration of 18 hours and the night having its time duration of the 6 hours, and both are in the format of 24 hours. And if the solstice is winter, then the night time duration is 18 hours and the daytime duration is 6 hours. So on the 21st of June, we are having the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere. I have noted point here that the upper half hemisphere is known as the northern hemisphere, while the second half of the earth is known as a southern hemisphere. Sorry. North, southern, right? So why the solstice is happening? Because due to the inclination of the earth axis, due to the inclination of the earth on its axis, This inclination decreases the distance of the northern hemisphere and particularly the north pole from the sun. That's why the north pole and the northern hemisphere are receiving the maximum light and the heat of the sun. Due to this decreasing distance, temperature is higher, and we are having a solstice position the 21st of June, when we are having the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere, and the daytime duration is 18 hours and the nighttime duration is the 6 hours. While in the southern hemisphere we are having the winter solstice, and in the winter solstice we have what? 6-hour day, 80-hour night. So in the southern hemisphere we are having the winter solstice with a 6-hour day. Simultaneously in the northern hemisphere on the same date we are having the 18 hours day. And this comes the reverse position on the 22nd of December, when in the northern hemisphere we have winter solstice, and in the southern hemisphere we have summer solstice. So on the 21st of June we were blotting our sweat, and the 22nd of December we were sleeping in our blanket. Simultaneously, just reverse to this position of the northern hemisphere on both this date, the southern hemisphere peoples were sleeping in the blanket on the 21st of June, and on the 22nd of December they were blotting their sweat from their forehead on the 22nd of December. That's why we used to say, when there is a winter in the India, when there is a winter in the India, there is a summer in the Australia, and when there is a summer in the India, there is a winter in Australia. Right? So the solstice is that position when the day and the night time duration are having the maximum distance, and again in this bifurcation, when we have the summer solstice, the day is 18 hours, night is 6 hours, and we have the winter solstice, the day is 6 hours while the night is of 18 hours, right? So this is happening due to the inclination of the earth on its axis. If had the earth could not be inclined on its axis, we were not getting the solstice, and not also we were getting the transformation of the season. So the first outcome, we will discuss a short time later, that the first outcome of the revolution is the transformation of the season. Now look, rest two position on the 21st of March and the 23rd of September. Both the pole and the whole part of the earth is maintaining the equal distance from the sun. That's why not too much heating and not too much cold. So look, on the 21st of March, we people were experiencing near about the Holi, that the starting of summer. And on the 23rd of December and the 23rd of September, the day yesterday we were experiencing that from the here onwards, now we are moving towards the winter. So on the 21st of June, on the 21st of March, when we are having equinox, and this equinox known by the name of spring. This is the name of this equinox. And what is the equinox? Equinox when 12 hours day plus 12 hours night. So equinox is that condition or that situation in which both the day and the night are of the equal time duration. Both the day and night are of equal time duration, that is the 12 hours day and the 12 hours night. And on the 23rd of September, we have autumn equinox. This is the name of this equinox and this is the name of this equinox. On the 21st of March, we have spring equinox, and on the 23rd of September, we have the autumnal equinox. And what is equinox? When the day and the night are of the equal time duration, that is the 12 plus 12 hours. So yesterday, if you had noticed, we have experienced a day which is having the 12 hours night exactly and 12 hours day. That is the 23rd of September, and today we are in the 24th of September. So The outcome of the revolution now, if we have discussed it properly, the outcome of the revolution is, first I am writing over here, if you people wish, you can take a screenshot of this diagram. Right. So the first outcome of the revolution is increasing or decreasing time duration of day or night. Increasing or decreasing time duration of the day on the night. So on the revolution, so on the rotation, due to the rotation, we have day and night on the earth. Due to the rotation, we have the day and the night on the earth, and due to the revolution, we have the increasing time duration of the day and the night, or decreasing time duration of the day and the night on the earth. And second outcome of the revolution is yes, transformation of season. Transformation of season, or we could easily say we are getting the season because of the revolution. If the revolution could not been there, we people were not getting the increasing time duration or decreasing time duration or the transforming time duration of the day and the night, and we were not having the season. So because of the revolution, we are having our 4 season, and the first season out of the 4 season is summer season, which we assume to start from the 1st of March to 15th of June. The summer season is from the 1st of March to the 15th of June. Then we have the second season from here up to here, that is the raining season, from 15th of June to 15th of September. Then we have the autumn season, that is from 15th of September to 30th of November. And then we have the winter season, that is from 1st of December to 28th of February. So in respect of India, on the 22nd of December, we are having what? Now this is in the respect of the northern hemisphere. So we are having the winter. Simultaneously on the 21st of June, we are having the summer. In September, we are having the autumn, and in March, we are having the summer or the spring equinox. Equinox are those having the equal time duration of day and the night, while the solstice are having the maximum distance of 12 hours between the time duration of the night and the day. So I hope we are clear with this topic with the complete understanding. Still, if you people have any inquiry, please WhatsApp to me on my WhatsApp number. The WhatsApp number is given on the banner page of the YouTube channel. That is in the description box. A link, 2 links have been provided. One is directly of this topic, and the one link of that page on which you are getting this topic. So quickly, you need to click on the first link and just copy paste the written notes, colored written notes, well maintained notes of this lecture. Thank you for all. Goodbye. Jai Hind. Vande Mataram.